We are the Xi Lambda Chapter at the University of Melbourne, and today we'll be presenting the program our chapter has implemented as part of our EY Inclusive Leadership Award. Hi, my name is Hayden. I'm the chapter's Vice President, and I'm joined by Xin Yi, our President, and Han, our Events Director. In order to target diversity, equity, and inclusion issues at the University of Melbourne, the Xi Lambda chapter proposed an approach that combines fostering lasting connections with BAP business as usual activities, such as professional development and community service events we had already been running. And to foster long-lasting connections, we proposed the BAP Career Mentoring Program. The question we wanted to ask was, where do we apply inclusive leadership at the Xi Lambda chapter? We broke this down into three main problems that are relevant to our chapter and could be applicable to all other chapters as well. The first problem we identified was that international students face more difficulties when it comes to gaining work experience and securing graduate roles due to strict firm hiring policies, thus putting them in an inequitable position. The second problem is the lack of inclusivity, as women find it difficult entering male-dominated fields like investment banking, as well as sourcing mentoring opportunities in those areas. The third problem is the limited diversity accounting students have, especially first-year students who have limited exposure to career paths outside of their primary major. We then derived the key question from these three problems that we wanted to ask. What initiatives can we undertake to bridge the gap between members who suffer from diversity, equity, and inclusion issues with their prospective employers? So what are our diversity, equity, and inclusion objectives? With diversity, equity, and inclusion, we aim to mitigate the effects disadvantaged students face in career progression. As part of diversity, we hope to provide diverse insights into many different industries and career paths. As part of equity, we intend to offset employability difficulties for disadvantaged students. And in part of inclusion, we want to include the needs of disadvantaged students at our chapter.
Taking into the needs of our members, we have come up with a mentoring program. The BAP mentoring program includes an informal meeting, team bonding event, and future networking opportunities. To set up our mentoring program, we reached out to a diverse range of industry professionals who work in a range of different industries, ranging from management consulting to private tax and advisory, to become mentors. We then requested both mentors and mentees to complete forms providing us with essential details, such as the mentor's industry, mentee's industry of interest, whether they are or used to be domestic or international students. We then subsequently paired them based on common characteristics, such as mentors who works in the industry the mentee is interested in, and both were international students. The initial meet and greet was a 30 to 60-minute catch-up between the mentee and the mentor. It was initiated by the mentee and could either be in person or online, and at any time of the day suitable for the pair within the 1 week period we fixed. The second phase was a trivia night for team bonding. The Xi Lambda committee arranged the venue, food, and facilitation of games where all participants formed teams of 4 to 6, so the pairs could get to know each other as well as other pairs, allowing them to socialize and network in a close-knit, inclusive, and diverse environment. The final phase was an invitation to our annual speed networking event. This event would be a 2-hour event with a rotational roundtable structure where attendees would rotate every 10 to 15 minutes to different service lines and end with an open networking where students can network with any industry representative. The overarching outcome of our program was for members, especially those disadvantaged by DEI issues, to have an equal opportunity in achieving their career goals by establishing long-lasting connections and relationships between members and potential employers. The individual meet and greet aims to provide students with guidance, connections, and insights to achieve their professional goals. As this was initiated by the mentee with our committee facilitating the program, it resulted in a relatively comfortable environment for mentees to ask questions. The trivia night aimed to fortify relationships, which allowed mentees and mentors to build a long-lasting relationship beyond just the program, as well as to meet other participants in the program. The invitation to our annual speed networking provided opportunity for mentees to learn about different industries and meet different people in a professional setting, exposing them to a diverse range of career paths. Diversity and inclusion in our program is achieved through invitation to the annual speed networking allows members to network with a diverse range of people, and this allows for diverse perspectives, insights, and conversations, preparing participants to become inclusive leaders and allowing them to learn about different career paths they have never thought of. Inclusion of mentors from different backgrounds, both professionally and culturally, as well as students of both domestic and international residency, has allowed us to foster an inclusive and diverse environment. This allows mentors who have experienced DEI issues to share their experiences with mentees who are going through them and how they can overcome them. Examples of equity is achieved through the initial meet and greet, which provided a pathway for disadvantaged students to gain insights and guidance into their preferred industry through mentors. This provided mentees with an alternative pathway to learn about the industry and how to break through these DEI issues. Mentees can build meaningful connections and get closer to the level of guidance their peers have access to. However, the successful implementation of our program does not come without challenges. Firstly, it was difficult to secure mentors who would be available and committed throughout the semester due to reasons like work and personal commitments. For example, as we required all participants to be in person for our trivia night, some industry professionals were overseas during that time period due to work commitments. We overcame this hardship by reaching out to BEP alumni who were available and interested in our new initiative. Secondly, as we wanted all mentees to take the initiative to reach out to mentors and set up the initial meetup, this prepared them to become future leaders. It was relatively difficult to administrate the progress of the catch-up, as well as the casual connections ongoing between the mentees and mentors. However, we could mitigate this by regularly communicating with the mentee and mentor before the start of our program, which allowed us to foster an environment where they were not hesitant to reach out if anything was needed. Lastly, as both students and industry professionals had relatively different schedules, it was not easy finding a suitable time and place for our in-person trivia night. But to do this, we confirmed a venue in the city which is accessible to everyone and held it after work hours, allowing us to have a maximum turnout and then once again foster an inclusive environment.
Although we have faced various challenges, our program has received a positive turnout and high satisfaction as shown by feedback gathered from mentees and mentors. We are pleased to see 100% attendance by all registered participants throughout our program, demonstrating a continuous interest. More than 80% of the mentors and 60% of the mentees were very satisfied with individual meet and greet. Many participants have shared qualitative feedback claiming that it was a great initiative where mentors were able to share personal experiences and insights to help mentees grow. This showed that we have achieved our objective of providing disadvantaged students with personalized guidance in a comfortable environment. Furthermore, our trivia night received a high level of satisfaction from at least 70% of the participants. Mentees claimed that as it was held in an informal setting, they found it easier to connect with their mentors as well as get to know other participants in the program. This fosters a new relationship and a close-knit community. Given high satisfaction from our first two phases of our program, 100% of our participants have accepted the invitation to our annual speed networking event. This achieves our objectives of providing mentees the opportunity to apply their newly gained knowledge in the earlier stages of our program, as well as getting diverse exposure to various industries. Other than the high satisfaction, our program also brought positive impact on diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, as shown by our feedback result, where we measured the impact on a scale from 1 to 5, with 1 being least useful and 5 being most useful. In terms of diversity, all members and 60% of mentees indicated that our program allowed them to meet a diverse range of careers and people, achieving our initiative of increasing participant exposure. The equity aspect is inherent in our program, as it provides more opportunities for mentees from disadvantaged backgrounds to progress in their career goals. All mentees, especially international students who suffered from difficulties in building meaningful connections, reported being exposed career-related opportunities they wouldn't have gained otherwise. With a one-on-one ratio of domestic to international students in our program, we inherently built an inclusive environment where participants shared their similarities and embraced each other's differences. At least 60% of the mentees and mentors responded that it was very likely for them to recommend our program to friends and colleagues. In addition to our primary objectives, we also identified some unexpected outcomes. Firstly, many pairs kept an ongoing mentee and mentor relationship beyond the fixed program. This was inferred from regular communication between mentees and mentors, especially through email between the meet and greet and trivia night. Secondly, our program has fostered our cross-chapter collaboration with the Xi Lambda Chapter from Monash University. As we invited them to participate in our program, we have decided to jointly organize our annual speed networking event, which is expected to further strengthen our ties. Lastly, the level of student interest in our mentor program exceeded our expectations. Although we had initially planned for 10 pairs, we received 17 applications for mentees. As a result, we expanded the program to accommodate 12 pairs of mentors and mentees.
Following the implementation of the BAP mentoring program, what were our key development areas? Using our feedback, we identified 2 key development areas to improve our program for the future. Our first key development area is an additional workshop prior to the commencement of the program. And secondly, to facilitate more regular catch-ups between the mentee and mentors. Our idea behind providing an additional workshop prior to the commencement of the mentoring program is to provide the mentees with basic knowledge and a structure of questions they can ask their mentors. It will also allow the mentors to be more familiar with the types of questions they may be asked. This provides clarification and preparedness so that both the mentee and mentor get the most out of the program, whilst maintaining comfortable and effective communication. To facilitate more regular communications between mentee and mentors, we propose providing more regular check-in emails, monitoring the progress by requiring updates of the recent meeting, and restate expectations after each meeting. We also suggest small games or tests to ensure the 2 parties have an understanding of each other. In order to target diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, such as the inequitable position of international students, the lack of inclusivity of women in the workplace, and the limited diversity of events for accounting students, we implemented a BAP mentoring program as our solution. As part of this, we researched what the most pressing issues of our members in relation to DEI were. We applied the solution, which involved implementing the BAP mentoring program. We identified any challenges and outcomes from the program using surveys and feedback, and we were able to find the strengths and weaknesses and the program's ability to address DEI issues. Finally, using the feedback, we structured a plan to refine the mentoring program so that it can be used in the future more effectively. Thank you.